Fallout is one of my all-time favorite games, and the TV show turned out so much better than I ever could have hoped for. There were so many excellent Easter eggs and hat tips that only a true fan could appreciate. That giant-ass Squire bag, for example, is such a great inside joke. It's about the only thing capacious enough to hide the several hundred pounds of guns, ammo, irradiated cram, Nuka-Cola, and mechanical whatnots that every player hauls around with them in the game. But perhaps my favorite part of the whole show was the capitalist critique embedded in the main storyline. This here is my spoiler warning. In case you haven't watched the show yet, I'm going to talk about some things that aren't revealed until the final episode. Spoiler alert! Let's watch a little clip here.
Do you know what fiduciary responsibility means?
Fiduciary responsibility? No. I have no fucking idea. I play a cowboy for a living.
Okay. So the U.S. government has outsourced the survival of the human race to Vault-Tec. And Vault-Tec is a private corporation that has a fiduciary responsibility to make money for its investors. And how does it make money? By selling vaults.
That's called capitalism, Charlie.
But they can't sell vaults if these peace negotiations go through. So Vault-Tec has the fiduciary responsibility to make sure that it don't work out.
Yeah, how are they going to do that?
I don't know.
Fiduciary responsibility. This is such a brilliant way of explaining this concept to a mass audience. It's like old Milton Friedman used to say, a corporation exists to make money for its shareholders. And when you make giant underground vaults to survive a post-apocalyptic wasteland, bringing about a post-apocalyptic wasteland is actually in your company's best interest. Which brings us to our second clip.
There's a lot of earning potential with the end of the world. But we're talking about making a significant investment based on a hypothetical. How can you guarantee results?
By dropping the bomb ourselves.
The earliest corporations were chartered by the crown or state governments with a specific public benefit in mind. Investors might form a corporation to build a bridge or to open up a trade route to another country. Frequently, corporations had an expiration date of only 10 years. It wasn't uncommon, even in the last 100 years, to kill off a corporation if crime or corruption had taken root. Back when Henry Ford established a living wage, $5 a day for his workers, which he did mostly for business, not humanitarian reasons, he got sued by his shareholders. The brothers Dodge, their modern avatars featured in a splashy Madison Avenue campaign, said Ford had a fiduciary responsibility not to pay his workers fairly, but to pay his shareholders instead. And the judge agreed with them. This is your reminder that American courts are mostly fixed in favor of the rich. Always have been. In the modern era, corporations are basically immortal and operate with a sociopathic need for growth and profit. Paying penalties for crimes is considered a routine cost of doing business. Human life frequently takes a back seat to quarterly earnings projections and stock price. And our ruling class, mostly through the courts, has seen fit to give these unkillable, frequently homicidal entities political rights. Fallout shows a chilling example of how putting profits before people can have deadly consequences. In this case, it led to nuclear war. But we don't have to use our imaginations to see the downside of the profit motive, because it crops up in our society all the time. We have a for-profit healthcare system that puts fiduciary responsibility to shareholders ahead of human life. Healthcare companies have an economic incentive for us to be sick and dying. Public health is the last thing those corporations care about. American defense companies have a fiduciary interest in warfare. Conflict and even genocide are good for business. Death keeps shareholders happy. Oil companies have a financial interest in pretending that global warming is a hoax. They don't care if the oceans rise and wipe millions out, so long as oil keeps pumping out profits for shareholders. The same way tobacco companies pretended for decades that smoking didn't cause cancer. The same way tobacco companies still don't care if their customers die preventable deaths, as long as the stock price holds. Fiduciary responsibility is a ticking time bomb, and sometimes capitalism itself is a threat to human life. Corporations don't exist for the public interest. They exist for private profit. That is the beating heart of the capitalist system, and it is a dangerous way to run a country. Government should exist for its people, not its corporate investors. So yeah, please watch Fallout for a chilling look at how corporations are eating us all alive. And please also like, follow, favorite, repost, and follow my Linktree to sign up for my free Substack, where you can get more details in every post. Let's make them pay.